Good morning from the Swamp Duck. It's Saturday the 25th of January 2020. In August this year, by the 27th of August this year, the boat has to have a new boat safety certificate. For those who don't know, the boat safety certificate is a bit like an MOT really that you would have in a car. There are certain things on the boat that need to be inspected and passed in order for you to be given the boat safety certificate, which will allow you to get the boat insured and allow you to have a license to operate on the inland waterways. This is the previous boat certificate. They last for 4 years. When this was done on the 10th of August 2016, it passed with flying colours. Did the boat meet all applicable minimum safety requirements? Yes. And so the new date was set for August 27th, 2020. I must say, having taken the boat to bits, was a little bit surprised that it had passed quite as well as it did, particularly the electrics, because once I'd opened the control panels, I discovered that although this is a DC circuit, as it says on the certificate, there was actually no DC wiring in the boat at all. It was all AC domestic leads that had been put around the boat. There was hardly any proper wiring at all, and there was evidence in the control panel of a little fire that had been going on, because part of the underneath of the control switch had melted and it smelt quite badly. So obviously over a period of time that had happened and been missed. So I had to set to, and I completely rewired the boat. Thanks to YouTube, I was able to get enough knowledge to be able to do the job myself. And since then I've installed various electrical equipment and added to the boat. So when I took it on, it only had one starter battery. It was very simple. And then over a period of time I've added the 2 leisure batteries and various items like switches and fridges, etc., that I've talked about in previous vlogs. And as I've gone along, I've added those to the battery. But they've only been really clipped on, which is not going to be good enough for the boat safety certificate. So what I need to do today is I want to really spend some time on the battery compartment. Even made a lovely sign for the battery compartment, because obviously when there was only one battery, it didn't really have much of a compartment, and I've had to expand that to take the leisure batteries. So I need to make sure that it is a dedicated battery locker, and that it's not used for anything else other than accessing the batteries. It's not used as a storage cupboard or anything like that. So I want to make sure that it's particularly designated for a battery compartment. I'm going to add a couple of hinges to it so that the top of it is secure, so there's no chance of you actually pushing the boards away and maybe falling in and putting your hands on the terminals or anything disastrous like that. So I want to make the top of it secure. I'm going to put some insulation on the underside of it to just in case there is any arcing or anything like that that might cause a fire or anything of that nature. Try and confine it into that space. And then I need to make sure that those leisure batteries are very secure. At the moment they've got straps on, which I bought when I got the leisure batteries, but I'm going to build a little bit of a framework, because the regulations say that the battery can't move any more than about 10 millimeters, which is not a lot. So they've got to not only stay in their place, then they can't tip or anything like that. So that's one of the jobs, is to make sure that those batteries are not going to move anywhere. And then I need to attend to this whole business of getting rid of clips and actually having proper battery connectors. So I have bought some connectors which will allow me to attach a number of wires to the posts on the battery. So that's something I'm going to do. But before I do any of that, the first thing is to label all of the wires, so when I put them all back in I know exactly what they're for and where they're supposed to go. So it's going to be quite a long process, and I will try and video some of it, although you may find some of it a little bit tedious. It's just swapping wires around, but I'll take some footage of the before, during and after. So that's the first part of trying to get the boat ready for the boat safety certificate in August. But finish the coffee first, because it's going to be a long day. Okay, so this is the horror that we're trying to sort out today. It does look actually worse than it is. A lot of these clips are the result of adding a few sort of temporary pieces to the batteries, things that don't need to be connected all the time. Just put them on to show you what it would look like if they were all there. There are things that, like this one here, which is the inverter, which came with the crocodile clips on, so they need to be removed and changed so that it's more of a permanent arrangement for that. Other clips are things like the solar maintainers, which don't necessarily need to be connected all the time, but they can be fed into a terminal block. So the first thing to do is to label all this up so I know where to put it back again. Okay, so now I have labelled all of the wires, and I have taken out the two leisure batteries, so I can start to build a framework which will hold them in place. Okay, so I've now built a framework in which the two batteries can sit, and they'll be strapped in, and then on this side I can put back the ballast that I had to remove, which was sitting underneath the batteries. So that should make the batteries fairly upright and will keep them firmly in place. So the next bit is to replace the batteries. Okay, so that's one of the leisure batteries in its cradle. And so we have both the batteries now firmly secured in their cradle, so they're not going to move anywhere anytime soon. Okay, so all the batteries and the wires are in place now, and there's not a clip in sight. So there we have it. We've got the two leisure batteries all installed, and all the crocodile clips have been removed. All I have to do now is tidy up all this wiring and get it sorted out. I've got the inverter on the go, and there's the battery charger, and the inverter is working the light up there at the moment. Bilge pump is functioning, as is the battery indicator level, which is getting a bit low at the moment, so I probably need to run the engine for a while. Just turn that off and give it a rest. So all I have to do now is make a hinged lid for this battery compartment, so you can't be putting your hands on. We've even managed to cover up the post there. Yeah, there's still a bit of tidying up to do with the wiring. It'll take a few days to sort that out. And, essentially that should do. I've insulated the boards there above the battery. I'm beginning to lose light now, so it's time to call it a day and go and have a well-earned cup of tea. Thank you for watching.